Memorials are up at the Utah Valley University campus tonight, and employees are back to work 5 days after conservative activist Charlie Kirk was gunned down. Good evening, I'm Kendall Bartley. Brandon Cameraman is off tonight. Founder of Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk was scheduled to speak at the University of Oregon and Oregon State University this fall. In the immediate aftermath of his death, KVAL's Tiffany Lewis spoke with leaders from both chapters who reflected on what the organization means to them and how this assassination will impact the future on their campuses.
Charlie Kirk founded Turning Point in 2012 at just 18 years old. 12 years later, it's grown to chapters on 900 college campuses. Students describe TPUSA as a home base for conservatives and even classic liberals who want a place for open debate without backlash.
So I think it really means to conservative students on campus that there's a place for them. A lot of times it feels like whether in your classes with a liberal professor, there's no place for you.
On Saturday, at least 1,000 people mourned Kirk with a prayer vigil at Alton Baker Park before marching to Hayward Field.
I feel like I don't have freedom of speech on that campus, and I feel like this will get other people on campus that are conservatives to also want to be a part of this movement where it's like, okay, now I have a place where I can go and share my opinions freely.
UO and OSU chapters were quietly preparing to host Kirk's Prove Me Wrong debate event in October.
We were keeping things very on the down low, very confidential, because to prevent things like this happening. There's a big concern about violence against There was already a big concern about violence against Charlie and other conservative speakers on campus.
Students also condemned the widespread celebration and justification of Kirk's murder. Abbott argues part of the anger towards Kirk comes from the realization that many of his views aren't fringe at all and shared by millions of Americans.
I believe the best way to concede that someone else is right is to need to act out in violence instead of have a better opposing view. This is a wake-up call for all of democracy, and I think you can only ignore so many of these before things start falling apart. And so I'd say we need to grieve, and then we need to take this warning seriously.
Following the assassination, TPUSA students say they're preparing to continue organizing, debating, and challenging ideological dogma on their campuses.
I think that this might be a mobilizing force for us to speak up for what we believe in and say, like, you can't silence us, we aren't afraid.
Students hope this moment can be a turning point in our national conversation about political violence, tolerance, and open debate. In Eugene, I'm Tiffany Lewis reporting.
Meanwhile, more information is coming out regarding the person suspected of shooting Kirk. Vice President Vance hosting Charlie Kirk's podcast on Monday as the fallout of the assassination continues. National correspondent Kayla Gaskins has the latest from Washington.
Those who loved conservative activist Charlie Kirk packing the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. Sunday evening for prayer service.
I would not be in this position if not for the heroic efforts of Charlie Kirk.
As supporters mourn his death, the justice system tirelessly building their case. FBI Director Kash Patel confirming DNA evidence found at the crime scene.
The DNA hits from the towel that was wrapped around the firearm and the DNA on the screwdriver are positively processed for the suspect in custody.
The suspect also left a note.
The suspect wrote a note saying, I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and I'm going to take it. That note was written before the shooting.
The note reportedly was left in the home the suspect shared with his partner.
We can confirm that his roommate was indeed a boyfriend who is transitioning from male to female.
Utah's Governor Spencer Cox says those close to the suspect told investigators he had become deeply indoctrinated with left-wing ideology.
That has come from his acquaintances and his family members.
President Trump crediting Charlie Kirk for helping him retake the White House.
I got the youth vote. I got numbers that nobody's ever even come close to in the Republican Party. A lot was attributed to Charlie.
Trump will head to Arizona for Kirk's memorial service this weekend.
Spiritual battle is coming to the West.
Meanwhile, those accused of celebrating the assassination on social media continue to get fired, suspended, or face other forms of punishment from a wide range of employers. Microsoft releasing a statement saying comments celebrating violence against anyone are unacceptable and do not align with our values. Kirk's death only amplified his message.
What is a woman?
His social media pages gaining millions of followers in the aftermath of the assassination. His Instagram page going from 6.9 million to 12.2 million. And Kirk's organization, Turning Point USA, receiving 37,000 requests to open new chapters in the past few days.
The suspect accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk will have his first court appearance on Tuesday. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
Tonight, a man undergoing psychiatric evaluation after the Lane County Sheriff's Office says he barricaded himself in a home in Cottage Grove. It began this morning on West 6th Street. A crisis negotiation team and special response team were on scene attempting to get the man to leave the residence and be taken into custody. After nearly 5 hours, the Sheriff's Office says he came out and was taken in for evaluation. He was not arrested and his name has not been released. No injuries were reported. 20 years behind bars, that is how long Jonathan James Dowdy has been sentenced to. Dowdy pleading guilty in the crash that caused the death of an Umpqua Community College softball coach and player earlier this year. Dowdy's vehicle hit a UCC team's bus head-on in Coos County along Highway 42 back in April. He pled guilty to a slew of charges, including 2 counts of manslaughter in the second degree, 8 different counts of assault, and driving under the influence. Dowdy was sentenced Thursday. He's due back in court December 1st for a restitution hearing. A little bit of a warm-up continuing, but a cool-down is approaching. KVAL's Alan Matthews joining us now. Alan, we wake up to cold weather, and by cold I mean 50, which feels like 30, and then it warms up. Are we just...
Well, I'll tell you what, we do have a big roller coaster. In fact, we got a bit of an anomaly happening tomorrow, and then things get back to kind of what we've seen over the last couple days. Temperatures today kind of in line with what we saw on Sunday. Let's show you what's going on right now. We're at 75 degrees in Eugene, as we are seeing a mostly sunny sky out there. A bit of a breeze, north wind at 14, and our humidity level at 38%. We take a look at the radar satellite. Not a lot to show you this afternoon. A little different from what we saw yesterday. We started out the day with some cloud cover. We've basically been looking at a clear sky throughout the day today. Now, as we look ahead toward tonight and into your day tomorrow, overnight temperatures will generally be in the upper 40s to mid 50s, and those highs tomorrow, they're actually going to get warmer in the valleys, upper 80s to mid 90s. In fact, we're going to be near record heat, at least for the Roseburg area. Eugene's going to be a few degrees off, and then we get back to around average on Wednesday. So like I said, this is going to be very brief. Our next chance of rain looks to be Sunday. Not a big chance. We'll break it all down with your full forecast coming up in just a little bit.
Thanks, Alan. Well, new at 5, Oregon Senate Republican leader Daniel Bonham is resigning from the Senate effective October 5th. Tonight, we are on your side working to find out why. In his resignation, he voiced his full support for House Republican leader Christine Drazen to be appointed to serve the remainder of his term, which ends January of 27. In a closed-door meeting in Wilsonville this morning, Senate Republicans elected Senator Bruce Starr from Dundee as the new minority leader. Today, we asked Senator Bonham for an interview to explain his decision. We are still working to get a response. In a statement, he said in part, quote, "I'm excited about my future, but I'll miss the day-to-day work alongside my colleagues in Salem." Bonham has served in the Oregon Senate since 23. He previously served in the House of Representatives in Oregon beginning in 2017. Now, Bonham was one of 9 Senate Republicans who walked out of the legislature in 2023 protesting a bill that protected abortion rights and gender-affirming health care. Bonham is barred from running for re-election next year because he participated in that walkout. Unemployment in Oregon steadily ticking up, topping the national average. That's according to the state employment department. KVAL's Gold Meadows spoke with the department that says one particular group of workers is having a tough time with the trend.
The rise of unemployment in 2024 maintains its grip on the labor force in Lane County.
In Lane County, the unemployment rate was 4.8% in July. And that's up from 4.2% a year ago in July 2024. So we've seen this slow upward drift in unemployment over the past year, both in Lane County and statewide. Most industries are either flat or down over the past year.
The national average is 4.3% as of August. Lane County's slow-moving labor market brings unemployment down 2,600 jobs, with hundreds of jobs slashed in manufacturing, retail, trade, even government, which Rooney said is a change from recent trends.
The on-again, off-again tariffs. There's been cuts to government, and that all kind of builds together to add up to these slow losses. We're seeing some local losses in local education, which includes the University of Oregon.
Job gains in the county are in healthcare, leisure, and hospitality industries, Rooney said. But certain groups are feeling the pain of longer wait times for a callback compared to others, according to OED.
There could be some differences in how long it takes somebody to find a job. We're seeing that number increase slightly. More people long-term unemployed than, in 2021 and 2022. There are fewer job vacancies open for every unemployed worker. People that are new to the labor force may take longer to find their first role, right? If you're just graduating from college, just graduating from high school and looking for a job.
Trevor Ritchie just graduated from the University of Oregon in spring on the career track to become a professor, but he's been applying for food service positions in the interim.
Graduated and I applied to probably about 20 jobs, all entry-level minimum wage jobs with a full resume, experience, availability, and I didn't get a call back until my 21st, and then I got hired on, and within about 2 or 3 months, again, I was let go because of just not enough hours to go around.
The 20-year average for unemployment in Lane County has been closer to 6%, with an all-time low at about 3% in 2022, according to OED. In Lane County, I'm Gold Meadows.
Unemployment numbers for this month have not yet been released by the Employment Department.